Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the session BA History Program, second semester, session number 20. I am Sudhaji, Assistant Professor, Department of History, GFGC, Ripanpet. Let us today start our session with the Doha of a great saint on the screen who lived in medieval India. I will tell you a doha of this great saint. Listen to me carefully and try to find out this saint. Are you ready? Let me tell you. Guru Govind Kadai Kake Lagu Pai, Balihari Guru Apno, Govind Dio Milai. It means, if teacher and God both are in front of us, whom to greet first? It's only teacher. Because of him only, we are able to see God, right? Now could you tell me, who is he? Yes, you are absolutely right. He is none other than Kabir Das ji. Let us today learn about life and teachings of Kabir Das. Students have learnt about socio-religious conditions of medieval India. They knew that genesis of the Bhakti movement lies in the socio-religious evils of Hindu society. Learning objectives of today's session: to enable the students to know about the early life of Kabir Das, to make them to understand the personality of Kabir Das as a poet, saint and social reformer, to learn about the various teachings of Kabir Das. Learning outcomes: at the end of the session, students will appreciate the relevance of teachings of Kabir even in 21st century. Students will learn dohas of Kabir. They will also list out the present day social evils and hurdles for communal harmony and come out with new thoughts to overcome them. To begin with, Kabir Das was a guiding spirit of the Bhakti movement. He was the representative of Nirguna Bhakti. In Bhakti movement, there are two branches, Saguna Bhakti and Nirguna Bhakti. The followers of Saguna Bhakti believe that God has a particular form, gender, color and name, whereas the followers of Nirguna Bhakti believe that God has no form, color, gender, name and all. He neither lives in masjid nor in mandir. He is universal and omnipresent. Hence, Kabir was the representative of Nirguna Bhakti. He was a saint, poet, above all, he was a social reformer too. Now let us learn about the life of Kabir, which is very interesting. There is no single opinion about the year of birth of Kabir among historians. It is said that he was born to a Hindu Brahmin widow around 1440 AD in Varanasi. He had left the child near a pond. The child was picked up by a Muslim couples, Niru and Nima, who were weavers. They brought him up, and later on in his life he married Dania. They had two children, Kamal and Kamali. His spiritual guru was Ramananda. Now, Kabir as a social reformer. Could you define who can be called as a social reformer? Social reformer is one who tries to bring about fundamental changes in the social system which are harmful to the society. Kabir was not intended to become a social reformer. Since medieval India was suffering from many social evils like caste system, idol worship, blind beliefs, Hindu-Muslim rivalry, he started criticizing them and tried to reform the life of the people. According to him, as like Ram and Rahim are same God, both Hindu and Muslims are also like a pot made of same clay. Hence, He was the first to emphasize the unity between Hindu and Muslims. He was against rituals, superstitious beliefs, and pilgrimage to sacred places also. According to him, there is no meaning and necessity of observing rituals, no need to visit sacred places also. He denounced, that means publicly criticized, the caste system. He also rejected the authority of both the Vedas and Quran, the holy books of Hindu and Muslims. He laid stress on the equality of men. Can you find out the article of Indian Constitution which tells about equality of men? You find out. Now let us move on to Kabir as a poet. Since Kabir was illiterate, he did not write anything. His religious and moral preachings, which were expressed in dohas, his disciples amalgamated, that means consolidated, in a book called Bijak, which is a collection of dohas. Dohas are the couplets of two lines, just like Sarvagna's Tripadi, Thiruvalluvar's Kural, which is in two lines. Dohas are also in two lines. They are very short, but they convey the meaning as vast as oceans. His dohas are in Kichdi language, also called as Sadukadi, which is a mixture of many local dialects called bolis like Braj, Awadhi, Bundeli and Kanauji. Kabir was called Gumakad. It means he was a wanderer who used to move from one place to another place where he used to preach people, hence he used the local dialects of that area. The Bijak has three parts, Saki, Sabad and Ramayani, about which you can learn more if you study Hindi literature. We are not focusing more about them here. I did MA in Hindi literature from Allahabad University, where I have studied Kabir as my area of specialization. Hence, I would like to suggest you to learn Hindi language and literature, which makes you to understand as many as more than 20 dialects of Hindi language. If possible, you can do that. The disciples of Kabir were called Kabir Panthis. These people can be found even in North India today, who used to sing Kabir Das Doha with Western music, which is very sweet and solacing to the heart. If possible, you can listen to them. Let's move on to teachings of Kabir Das. He advocated Nirguna Bhakti. He stated that Almighty has no gender, form, name and all. He rejected idol worship and polytheism. Polytheism means Bahudevata Aradhane, worshipping of many gods. According to him, there is only one God, hence he rejected polytheism. He preached the religion of love, for which I would like to quote a doha of Kabir here. Poti padi padi jagmuva pandit bhayana koi, dhai aakar premuka pade so pandit hoy. It means, bookish knowledge alone cannot make a person a scholar. One who has love and respect for his fellow beings alone is a true scholar. He insisted on the religion of love, which aimed at promoting unity amongst all castes and creeds. He preached man to give up pride, anger, enmity and ego, what we call Arishad Vargas, which are enemies to mankind. It is better to give them up. Despite his teachings, it is unfortunate that even today we can find many social evils prevails. Can you find out the reasons for it? List out the modern day social evils. What could be done to remove them from our society? Think about that. Now let us move on to the golden thoughts of Kabir Das. Kabir Das tells that if by worshipping stones one can find God, I shall worship a mountain, for which in a doha he tells like this, पातर पूजे हरि मिले तो मैं पूजू पहाड़ घर की चाकी कोई न पूजे जाको पीस काय संसार. He asks, by worshipping idols made of stone, if it is possible to reach God, then he would like to worship hill. None worships flour mill which gives flour mill to eat. It is better to worship flour mills than stones. You can find here the resting place of Kabir Das ji, which is in Magahar town of Uttar Pradesh. In one of his dohas, he also tells that leave the rosary and try to change the evil in your heart. It reads like this, Mala fairat jugbhaya, firana manika fair. Karika manika darade, manika manika fair. This is sarcasm on people who follow religion blindly. Kabir says, you spend your life turning the beads of rosary, but could not turn your heart. Leave the rosary and try it and change the evil of your heart. As a conclusion, we can summarize his thoughts like this. Kabir's sharpest barbs were directed against those who misused the credulity of the people for their purposes. I hope you have recalled the dohas which you have learnt during your high school. Dohas of Kabir reveals that he believed in unity of God. His concept of humanism made him to attack the hierarchical order of the society. His mission needs to be seen in a broader context. Kabir is the symbol of equality, Hindu-Muslim unity, and opposition to hypocrisy of all forms. Before winding the session, let us have a quick recapitulation of today's lesson. We have learned about early life of Kabir Das, the factors which made Kabir as a social reformer. Though he was an illiterate, skilled to compose dohas, summary of his teachings, the language he used to teach, golden thoughts of Kabir Das, and relevance of his thoughts in the 21st century. The books which I referred to prepare my talk are Medieval India by Satish Chandra, Medieval History of India by J.C. Agarwal, and also Bhakti Movement History Discussion. I hope you would have enjoyed my session. Thank you one and all.